Most people believe fat loss only happens when you are sweating, counting steps, or pushing through workouts, but that is only part of the story. While you sleep, your body is doing something far more interesting. It is repairing tissue. It is balancing hormones. And under the right conditions, it is quietly burning fat, especially stubborn belly fat. This is something very few people talk about, and even fewer people understand. Tonight, we are going to explore a small habit done before bed that may influence how your body behaves overnight. It is simple. It does not involve extreme dieting. It does not involve exhausting exercise routines, and it is not a drug, yet it works on the same biological systems that modern weight loss medications target. That is why it has started to attract serious scientific interest. This video is not about quick fixes or miracles. There is no exaggeration here. Everything you will hear is grounded in how the human body actually works. You will learn why belly fat is so resistant compared to fat in other areas. You will learn what really happens to insulin, hunger hormones, and fat-burning signals while you sleep. And most importantly, you will learn how one small nightly habit may gently shift those signals in your favor. Many people struggle with belly fat even when they eat less and move more. This is not because they lack discipline. It is because belly fat is deeply connected to blood sugar, stress hormones, and sleep quality. If those systems are not aligned, fat loss becomes an uphill battle. The scale may barely move. Clothes still feel tight. Motivation slowly fades. Understanding this connection is the first step toward changing it. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand why nighttime is such a powerful window for fat loss. You will learn why eating the wrong thing late in the evening can block fat burning for hours. You will also learn why the right tiny input at the right time may help calm appetite, stabilize blood sugar, and support fat use while the body rests. These are lesser-known details that most fitness advice completely ignores. There is also an important reason to watch this video until the very end. Near the end, we will connect the dots between this simple habit and why people often compare it to medications like Ozempic. Not because they are the same, but because they influence similar biological pathways. One works forcefully, the other works gently. Understanding this difference could change how you think about weight loss forever. This information is especially relevant if you struggle with late-night cravings, poor sleep, or stubborn belly fat that refuses to go away. It is also important if you are tired of advice that tells you to simply try harder. Biology does not respond to force. It responds to signals, and small signals, repeated consistently, can create powerful changes over time. We will also clarify who this approach may help and who it may not. This is not a replacement for medical care. It is not a guarantee, but it is a fascinating example of how small habits can influence deep internal processes. When people understand these processes, they stop blaming themselves and start working with their bodies instead of against them. Everything in this video is explained in clear, simple language, no complicated terms, no confusing science jargon, just the facts broken down so anyone can understand them and apply them safely. If you care about health, metabolism, and sustainable fat loss, this video will give you insights that most people never hear. You are watching a channel focused on science-based health explanations. Here, we look beyond trends and focus on how the body truly works. If you want to learn how to make smarter health choices without extremes, you are in the right place. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss future videos like this one. And stay with us until the end, because the final takeaway may completely change how you approach fat loss at night. Belly fat behaves differently from fat stored in other parts of the body, and the reason is not willpower or genetics alone. It is deeply connected to how your body handles insulin. Insulin is the hormone that decides whether energy gets stored or released. When insulin stays high for long periods, especially in the evening, the body receives a clear signal to store fat rather than burn it. The abdominal area is particularly sensitive to this signal, which is why fat tends to accumulate there first and leave last. Stress hormones add another layer to the problem. When stress levels rise, the body releases cortisol. Cortisol increases blood sugar, so you can respond to perceived danger. But when stress becomes chronic, that sugar has nowhere to go. Insulin rises to manage it, and belly fat becomes the storage site. This cycle can repeat daily without people realizing it, especially when mental stress and poor recovery are involved. Late night eating quietly reinforces this pattern. Food consumed close to bedtime keeps insulin elevated during hours when it should be falling. Instead of switching into fat burning mode, the body stays in storage mode. This not only slows metabolism overnight, but also interferes with hormonal rhythms. Sleep quality plays a powerful role here. Short or disrupted sleep increases insulin resistance the next day and raises hunger hormones at night. When sleep suffers, belly fat gains an advantage that is difficult to overcome with exercise alone. When the body enters sleep, a quiet metabolic shift begins. As food intake stops and the digestive system slows, insulin levels naturally start to fall. This drop is important because insulin acts like a gatekeeper. When it is low, stored energy can finally be accessed. Fat cells receive the signal that it is safe to release fuel, and the body begins drawing from its reserves instead of constantly relying on incoming calories. At the same time, growth hormone increases. This hormone is often associated with muscle and recovery, but it also plays a key role in fat metabolism. Growth hormone encourages the body to preserve lean tissue while using fat as an energy source. Its release is strongest during deep sleep, which is why sleep quality matters just as much as sleep duration. Fragmented or shallow sleep weakens this hormonal response. As insulin remains low and growth hormone rises, fat becomes a preferred fuel source. The body shifts away from burning sugar and moves toward using stored fat to support overnight processes like cell repair and brain activity. This shift is subtle but powerful, and it happens without conscious effort. However, this process depends on digestion being calm. Heavy meals, late snacks, or foods that spike blood sugar keep insulin elevated and digestion active. When the gut is busy, the hormonal environment needed for fat use never fully develops, and the body stays stuck in storage mode throughout the night. The 1 teaspoon mentioned here is often misunderstood, so it is important to be clear about what it is and what it is not. This is not a drug, and it does not override the body's natural systems. Nothing is being forced. Instead, it works by supporting processes that already exist. The goal is not to push the body into rapid fat loss, but to gently guide it toward a more favorable metabolic state during the night. One of the main ways this small amount helps is through blood sugar control. When blood sugar remains stable in the evening, insulin does not stay elevated for long periods. This allows the natural nighttime drop in insulin to occur more smoothly. A calm blood sugar response can reduce sudden hunger signals and make it easier for the body to transition into fat use while sleeping. Appetite regulation is another important effect. Certain simple inputs before bed can influence hormones related to fullness and cravings. This can reduce the urge to snack late at night and may also lower morning hunger, creating a more balanced eating pattern over time. Overnight metabolism is influenced by these signals as well. When digestion is light and hormonal rhythms are supported, the body is better able to focus on repair and energy use instead of constant storage. Timing plays a bigger role than quantity here. A very small amount at the right time can have more impact than larger amounts consumed earlier or too late when the body is already preparing for rest. The comparison to Ozempic comes up often because both approaches influence similar biological systems. Ozempic works by targeting hormones involved in appetite and insulin regulation. It reduces hunger signals, slows digestion, and helps keep blood sugar more stable. As a result, many people eat less without consciously trying, and insulin levels remain lower for longer periods. This hormonal shift is a major reason why weight loss occurs. Natural approaches aim at the same pathways, but they do so in a very different way. Instead of directly activating receptors with a pharmaceutical compound, they support the body's own ability to regulate appetite and insulin. The signals are softer, the changes are gradual. Rather than overpowering hunger, they help the body recognize fullness more clearly and respond to food more efficiently. This difference in approach matters. Pharmaceutical solutions are designed to create a strong and immediate effect. For some people, this is necessary and medically appropriate, but strong interventions can also feel abrupt to the system. The body must adapt quickly to new signals, which is why side effects sometimes appear. Gentler methods work at a slower pace. There are no injections involved and no sudden disruption of appetite or digestion. Instead of shocking the body, they aim to restore balance over time. The process relies on consistency rather than intensity, allowing hormonal rhythms to adjust naturally as part of everyday life. Scientific research has consistently shown that insulin sensitivity plays a central role in where fat is stored and how easily it is released. When cells respond well to insulin, the body needs less of it to manage blood sugar. Lower insulin levels create an environment where stored fat, especially around the abdomen, becomes easier to access. This is why improvements in insulin sensitivity are often linked with gradual reductions in belly fat, even without major changes in calorie intake. Stable blood sugar is another important factor. Large swings in blood sugar during the evening can trigger strong hunger signals later at night. These signals are not always true hunger, but hormonal responses to rapid drops in glucose. When blood sugar remains steady, the brain receives fewer emergency signals. Cravings decrease, and the urge to snack before bed becomes less intense. Sleep research adds another layer of insight. Quality sleep is associated with increased fat oxidation, which is the process of using fat as fuel. During deep sleep, the body shifts away from sugar burning and relies more on stored fat to meet its energy needs. Poor sleep disrupts this shift and favors fat storage instead. Over time, small inputs can influence these systems. Consistent, modest habits affect hormones repeatedly, and those repeated signals slowly reshape metabolic balance without overwhelming the body. This approach tends to be more helpful for certain patterns rather than for everyone in the same way. People dealing with insulin resistance often notice the strongest effects because their bodies struggle to manage blood sugar efficiently. When insulin remains elevated for long periods, fat storage is favored, especially around the abdomen. Supporting insulin regulation at night can make it easier for their metabolism to shift toward fat use instead of constant storage. Late-night snackers may also benefit. Evening cravings are often driven by hormonal signals rather than true hunger. When those signals are softened, the urge to eat close to bedtime can decrease. This creates a longer overnight fasting window without effort and allows natural fat-burning processes to occur more consistently. Poor sleepers are another group that may notice changes. Disrupted sleep interferes with hormones that control appetite and fat metabolism. When sleep improves, even slightly, the body responds by regulating hunger more effectively and using energy more efficiently during the night. At the same time, this approach is not meant to replace the foundations of health. It does not take the place of a balanced diet that provides proper nutrition. It does not eliminate the need for movement, which supports insulin sensitivity and overall metabolic health. It also does not replace medical treatment for those with underlying conditions that require professional care. It works alongside these elements, not instead of them. Fat loss is often misunderstood as something that requires extreme measures, complicated routines, or strict deprivation. The reality is very different. The body responds to signals more than it responds to willpower or drastic actions. Hormones, digestion, sleep, and timing all send messages to the body about whether to store energy or use it. Understanding these signals is far more powerful than chasing temporary fixes. A small habit, such as taking a teaspoon of a supportive substance before bed, is not a magic solution. It will not suddenly burn away belly fat overnight, and it will not replace the benefits of proper nutrition, regular movement, or quality sleep. Its effect is subtle and gradual, working quietly in the background to help the body respond better to natural rhythms. The real power lies in consistency. Repeating small actions night after night can gently shift how the body manages blood sugar, hormones, and fat metabolism. Over time, these repeated signals begin to influence the body's biology, making it more efficient at using stored fat and regulating appetite. The process is slow, but it is sustainable. By focusing on small, consistent habits instead of extreme efforts, it is possible to create meaningful, long-lasting changes that the body actually responds to. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like. Subscribing to our channel will keep you updated with more science-based health explanations that are simple to understand and easy to apply. We would love to hear from you. So leave a comment if you want us to explain the exact teaspoon options safely and how to use them effectively. Your feedback helps us create more content that truly supports your health journey.